Continuing Brendan Dassey trial transcript reading, day 2 on page 102, Kratz questioning Deputy Daniel Kucharski. Now, are you familiar with a firearm? Specifically, do you have some working familiarity with this particular firearm? I am the armor for the county, so I have been to several schools, trained in maintenance and identification of weapons. Yes, I know how this rifle works. All right, when you describe a rifle as a semi-automatic rifle, and specifically exhibit number 129, can you tell us what that means, please? A semi-automatic is referring to the action of the rifle. This rifle has a tubular magazine below the magazine with the ammunition for it. After it's loaded, every time you pull the trigger, one round will be fired. The next round will be automatically cycled into the chamber, and then with every succeeding pull of the trigger, you get one round. I don't know if you know this answer, Deputy Kucharski, but does this particular weapon, this .22 caliber semi-automatic rifle, contain several bullets within its what's called magazine? Inside the magazine to this particular model, depending on when it was made, is somewhere between 14 and 17 rounds you can put in the tubular magazine. All right, so before stopping to reload, an individual could shoot 14 to 17 rounds of ammunition through it. Is that what your testimony is? Yes. Where was that rifle seized from specifically? This was in Stephen Avery's bedroom inside the trailer on the wall in a gun rack above his bed. Attorney Kratz, could you, Investigator Wiegert, thank you. Attorney Kratz to Deputy. Deputy Kucharski, upon a search of Mr. Avery's residence, do you have occasion to seize or remove any cleaning equipment? On the 6th, we were specifically sent in to take a vacuum, and then on the 8th, when we went back to do a thorough search of the residence, we collected as evidence a Bissell carpet cleaner. I'm going to show you a photograph, exhibit number 124. It's on the large screen. Can you tell us what that is, please? That is the Bissell carpet cleaner that we took into evidence on the 8th. Do you remember where that was received from? I think it was in the hallway living room portion. Investigator Wiegert is actually going to show you that item. Attorney Kratz. Roberta, what number is that? The clerk. Exhibit 130. Attorney Kratz. I'm showing you what's been marked as exhibit number 130. Tell the jury what that is, please. That is the Bissell carpet cleaner that we took from the residence on the 8th. All right, thank you. If I can just go back, I believe it was on the 6th you talked about maybe it was the 7th, a searching an office area or another building within the Avery compound. Is that right? On the 6th and the 7th, on the 6th was more of a general search of the office buildings on the property there. On the 7th, I also went into some of the buildings to specifically take some items. I'm going to show you exhibit number 122. It's a photograph. Can you tell us what we're looking at, please? This is a photograph of on the inside of one of the office buildings. That's kind of like a customer counter, I believe, and that's with an endangered missing poster for Teresa Hallbach. Directing your attention now to the 8th of November, were you asked to perform a more thorough search of the residence of Stephen Avery? On the 8th, myself, Lieutenant Link, and Sergeant Colburn were sent back to the Stephen Avery residence to specifically take several items and then complete a thorough search of the residence. On the 8th, did you have occasion to find any ammunition, specifically any .22 caliber long rifle ammunition from the bedroom of Stephen Avery? Yes, we did. We located and collected .22 caliber long rifle ammunition from the bedroom. An evidence photograph of that was taken. I'm going to direct your attention to exhibit 125. Could you tell us what that is, please? That is a photo of the .22 caliber ammunition that was taken from the bedroom. Also on the 8th, did you have occasion to find and recover a key? Yes, on the 8th, we recovered a Toyota key in the bedroom of Stephen Avery. I show you what's been marked as exhibit number 127, 126. Could you tell us what exhibit number 126 is, please? It's a photograph that I took of the key as it was found in the bedroom. Who collected this key? I did. And how was it collected, please? I collected the key by taking new gloves out of a package that I brought into the residence to do the searching with, put the key into a new paper bag, sealed the paper bag, and it was in my possession until it left with Special Agent Joy to the crime lab. A photograph of that key was later taken by evidence technicians at the Sheriff's Department. I'm showing you exhibit number 127. Can you tell us what that is, please? That's another photograph of the key that we located and took into evidence out of Stephen Avery's bedroom. Just so the jury's clear, this is what's commonly referred to as an evidence photo. That is after it's been collected. Is that right? That's correct. And the last thing we're going to show you, exhibit number 131, and tell the jury what that is, please. That is the key that we found in the Stephen Avery's bedroom. Now on the end of the key is a blue, what's called a key fob, something that would be attached or go into a lanyard. Is that your understanding? Yes, a female end of the key fob is attached to the key. As depicted, that is the key itself with the fob and the keychain, is that how it was recovered? And does it look the same or similar as Mr. Wiegert is holding it as it did when you recovered it on the 8th of November from Mr. Avery's bedroom? Yes, it looks the same. Attorney Kratz. With my reservation, Judge, for replaying that exhibit once and probably after lunch when the technical problems are resolved, and moving the admission of exhibits 116 through 131, I have no further questions of this witness. Thank you. The court. Any objections to the exhibits, counsel? Attorney Freeman. 131? The court. Yes. Attorney Kratz. 131. Attorney Freeman. 131 was Attorney Kratz, the key itself. The court. The actual key. Attorney Freeman. No, that's fine. That's fine, Judge. The court. All right, they're received. You may cross. Cross-examination by Attorney Edelstein. Deputy, good morning. Good morning. I'm sorry, is that better? Yes. Okay, all right. So you work for Cal County. You've been over there 4 years, right? Yes. And where were you specifically before that? Oconto Police Department. Okay, do you have a 4-year degree in police science? I have a 2-year degree in police science. From Green Bay, from Northeast Wisconsin Technical College. Okay. Other than the training you described, the 2-week training at Fox Valley, do you have any other formal training through educational entities for purposes of being qualified on evidence collection? No. Now, I noticed in response to Mr. Kratz, when you were questioned about firearms collected, you were very quick to state that you took the 22 out of Stephen Avery's trailer, correct? I took the 22 out of the trailer, yes. Okay, I think the question he asked you, though, with your involvement was a little broader than that. And the truth of the matter is you picked up a lot of firearms from the Avery property, didn't you? 2 firearms out of the Stephen Avery trailer and many other firearms off the property. Okay, so the 2 from the trailer certainly weren't the only firearms that were picked up? That's correct. As a matter of fact, there was at least one other 22, right? Yes. Any particular reason you can think of when Mr. Kratz asked you about firearms you picked up, you didn't mention the others? We were speaking about the Stephen Avery trailer. I don't think we went into the searches on the other pieces of property and weapons. Deputy, I may have misunderstood Mr. Kratz's question, but I understood him to ask you about any firearms. But now that you've cleared that up, you acknowledge that there were other firearms and there was at least one other 22? Yes. Okay. The 22 Glenfield, you indicated that it holds between 14 and 17 rounds, correct? I believe so, yes. Well, upon what do you believe that? Records from the Marlin Company, they changed the configuration of the magazine at a certain period during the manufacture. The only real way to tell exactly how many it holds is to actually load it. I don't know if it's been modified or anything like that. You didn't, well, you looked at it, I assume, yes. You're fairly adept with firearms? I didn't examine it, I didn't take it apart at all. Well, certainly by way of appearance, there wasn't anything obvious that would indicate that the magazine had been modified, was there? Nothing overly, no. So you're 14 to 17. This is a guesstimate? Yes. You never actually checked it? No. Okay, in order to load that particular firearm, the individual cartridges, the shells themselves have to be individually handled, correct? Yes. Okay, and basically they slide down the tube and then it's fed via a spring? Well, there is a speed loading device that they have on the market you can put into another device, and then that fits into the tube, and then they all drop in there. So I guess individually, it depends if you had that extra device or not. Well, not to quibble with you, Deputy, but in order to load the speed loader, you're going to still have to handle each one of them separately, aren't you? To put them into the speed loader, yes. So whether you load the thing directly without the benefit of a speed loader or you utilize a speed loader, someone is going to have to handle each and every shell that ultimately ends up in the tubular magazine of the rifle? Yes. All right. Now, you recovered, I believe you said 11 shell casings from the garage? Yes. In various states of condition, is that a fair statement? Yes. Okay, did you personally pick each and every one of them up? No, I did not. So you can't tell us how they were handled prior to you getting your hands on them, so to speak. Everyone was wearing gloves as we were searching. That's about the only thing that I could tell you about how they were handled. But you didn't sit there and observe each and every casing being picked up? Correct. All right, so you don't know if they were picked up using any type of device or they were picked up using hands or gloved hands or anything like that? That's correct. Prior to the shell casings being removed from the garage, I assume you were in the garage and essentially everybody said, well, gee, I found one. They bring them over to you. Is that what happened? I found one. We'd attempt to photograph it if it was out in the open, circle it, put a tent there. After the point reached there where we didn't find any more, okay, collect them all up. At some point, did you remove each and every item from the garage? No, I did not. Did you or anyone else document the precise location within the garage of each of the shell casings you did leave with the garage with? Only the photographs. Okay, so there were no measurements, for example, that shell casing was X distance from the rear wall or so many feet from another wall? That's correct. Deputy, you testified about finding what's depicted in the photograph on display, and for the record, it's described as the CCI 22s, correct? Yes. Are you the individual who located that? That was located in Stephen Avery's bedroom. Sergeant Colburn was searching that area of the bedroom. That would be the desk area. So I guess the answer to my question is no, you were not the one who actually located it. Correct. You took the pictures? No. Did you become the custodian of that box? Yes. And that was on which day? The 8th. Of November? Yes. When it was who? Who gave it to you? Who gave you the box? I don't know. When it was given to you, was the top open or closed? I don't remember. If it was given to me, if it was pointed out to me and I picked it up, I don't remember if the box was open or closed. Did you ever, the top of that will slide in order to open, correct? Yes. Did you at any time open it or close it to your memory? No. When you received it, if at all, did you package it? We took the ammunition out of that bedroom and placed it all into one bag, a grocery bag. Okay, are you telling us that you removed each and every cartridge from that particular container and put it in a grocery sack? No. You left the thing in one piece with them in place, correct? Yes. And then put it in the sack? Yes. All right, so you didn't handle, or to your knowledge, nobody else handled the individual shells? Correct. What about the outside? How was the outside of that preserved for purposes of testing or trying to lift any fingerprints off that? It wasn't preserved for fingerprint evidence. You're a trained evidence technician, are you not? Yes. You've already seized a firearm, including a .22 from that residence, correct? Yes. Don't you think it would be important to try to determine who, if anybody, has handled that particular box? Not at the time. Didn't Agent Fassbender specifically tell you go back into Stephen Avery's trailer and get that .22? Among other things, yes. Well, now as an officer, particularly one who's trained in evidence collection, can you explain to me why you did not think it was critical in light of the fact that Fassbender instructed you specifically to go get that .22 rifle and you've come across a box of .22s, not to preserve it in such a fashion as would allow for fingerprint processing? Out of all the items that myself and my team collected, probably into the hundreds of items, I only remember one item that we preserved for fingerprint evidence. That doesn't really answer my question. I didn't ask you how many items you picked up. I just want to know why you didn't think it was important, particularly in light of the fact that the lead investigator, Fassbender, tells you to go get the .22 rifle and you come across .22 shells in a plastic case, that you didn't think it was important to preserve it in a fashion which would allow the processing for fingerprints. I don't have an answer. Did you not think that it was important to be preserved in such a fashion as to allow the lifting of prints? Attorney Kratz, objection, both argumentative and irrelevant. If Mr. Edelstein is saying somebody other than Stephen Avery handled this, it becomes relevant. Otherwise, it's not relevant, Judge. The Court, I agree. Move on, Mr. Edelstein. And for the record, we're talking here, I believe, about Exhibit 125 by Attorney Edelstein. Did you examine any of the individual cartridges in there to determine what type of bullet was contained in the box? No. Did you or any member of your search team, while you were in the garage or any time after you collected the 11 shell casings, perform any swabbing on there so as to allow for the processing of DNA evidence? On the shell casings? Correct. No. Do you know if that was ever done by anybody involved in the investigation? I don't know. Did you or any member of your search team assigned to perform the search in the garage, following the receipt of the shell casings, do anything in an attempt to preserve them in such a fashion as would allow the lifting of fingerprints? No. Now, you were the first in the garage on the 6th, is that right? That's correct. You didn't find any bullets in any cracks on that day? No, I did not. You didn't find any on the 8th, correct? That's correct. What about underneath the compressor? Did you find any bullets or bullet fragments on the 6th or the 8th? No, I did not. You first testified that when you went in, when you characterize it as a general search and that you weren't looking for anything specific? Yes. What are you searching for